major claim is technology has a negative effect on younger generations' functional skills. And some background information is that technology was found in the ancient times. Throughout the years, there's 4 periodic times, which was pre-mechanical age, the mechanical age, mechanical age, and electronical age. My first important claim is the reliability technology has causes lack of knowledge and cause of communication. The younger generation has an addiction to instant messaging and social networks. It's not even a question now to our society of how many people own and use the internet or computers and how its popularity takes over. It's more certain that everyone uses text messaging and social networks in our daily basis life. There was a study that was made from the article Journal of Adolescent Health with 9,405 Taiwanese teenagers, students being studied. There was a result of 35 male and 25 females being addicted to internet. Also, another study was in a Washington Post with cell phones are questioning if there being an addiction to students and how it affects them. The example was given to a girl, and they asked her, how much time did she spend using a cell phone or an electronic device? And she said she takes her cell phone everywhere she goes, from her mom driving in the car, from her walking to school, from her eating, from her watching TV. And that's an example of how it could be addicted to someone. The increase of device communication and the increase of device communication and decrease of mind communication. Nowadays, technology has changed the way we can communicate with each other. Before, it was done more verbally, like one-on-one conversation with somebody instead of texting or using chat rooms. Now we're able to talk to somebody all around the world from a different place without having to see them in person. A scientist, Susan Greenfield of Oxford University, states that teens feel that social networks give them a reliable feeling to interact with another person. However, it decreases modern communication, such as from the stretch to face-to-face real life conversations. Another thing she said was that she also makes a statement that we should all take into consideration with online media. Children and teenagers can have hundreds of friends, but we never know who we are actually talking to. Secondly, the younger generation becomes more inactive with technology. Nowadays, everyone uses the internet, everybody uses technology instead of spending more quality time doing homework or reading or using our individual skills. And there was a study by Kaiser Family Foundation, and they studied that an average of students spend 7 to 8 hours a day on entertainment media, and then that doesn't include multitasking, which doubles like the time. Some reasonable findings that were found is that girls spend more time on social network sites, music, and reading, and boys spend more time on video games, computer games, and like websites like YouTube. Victoria Rhino was the vice president and the director of program for the study of media and health of the Kaiser Family Foundation. She said that since students spend 7 hours a day, and then you multiply it by 7, which is 14. What was it, 14? No. It's like about 53 hours a week that students spend on technology, which is basically like how much people is like a full-time job. And my last claim is that technology is affecting the way students learn and it's changing education. Students become too independent on the internet to research information. over the growing ages of students, they tend to rely on basic information. So instead of you looking up a book or going to the library or looking up a newspaper, we rely too much on the internet. We find a quick and easier way to research our information, and it's not too dependable. It was published by a professor of international management development at Cranfield School of Management. He said that technology is being used for students. A high proportion of teenagers, like 59%, admit to inserting information straight from the internet into schoolwork without actually reading or changing it. And almost 28% doing this, they actually admit that they do get stuff from the internet and put it into schoolwork, and which is considered plagiarism. And his survey resulted that being dependent on technology it starts from when you're from the age of 8 till the age of 13. And secondly, the second minor claim, it changes how the change in teaching and learning process changes in education systems are being updated. However, in every change there is a diverse factor that may affect the education system. Students must change their learning styles and adaptation to new systems, and it can cause failure to academic performance. The study director, Michael Russell of Boston College Ling School of Education, said that students score low on reading tests because they don't read as much, or they don't use writing as much. In conclusion, there are many factors stated in this speech to give you a better understanding of some of the negativity that technology can have on students in terms of addiction, communication, knowledge, reliance, and education-wise. So our generation must be careful on what we rely on and the effect it can have upon us.
All right, the topic is clear. The phrasing of the proposition sounds a little bit broad. I don't know why you go into that definition since you never go back to talk about the earlier technologies. I think you could just stick to the electronic technological age and you would be fine. There's no setup of what the supporting structure is going to be in a preview, so that would help the audience do a better job of listening. On the other hand, in the body of the speech, you were very consistent about citing the major points as you got to them. It got a little confusing, I think, on the third point because you had multiple supporting points on that, and it felt a little like you got lost while you were talking about it. Speaking of the last part of the speech, I thought that you did a nice job in the first part of the speech, building credibility, talking to us, relating the information, explaining things that were going on. But once you got to that third point, it felt like it was a completely different speaker. It's now I'm reading this material, I'm talking to the audience, but I'm really just talking in front of them. I'm not relating to them. So that was a little inconsistency that you would like to get rid of. I thought you did a nice job citing a variety of evidence in all the categories. You were very consistent about giving us qualifications about those authorities. Sometimes I think the information is solid, but you're making some big inferences from it. For instance, you've got this one study that you make a reference to that talked about some number like 25 of the girls and 35 of the guys were found to be addictive personalities out of the 9,000 people that they surveyed. And I'm going, well, okay, that doesn't sound like it's all that big, you know. You've got maybe 50 people out of 9,000 who had this addictive personality is this really a big problem? You know, I would imagine that there are people out there who can get addicted to anything. Why is this any different or any more problematic? You don't really tell us too much about what the complications of those addictions are. The other arguments, I think you explained them pretty clearly. All right, thank you.